Do you remember when Meghan Markle sat down and did the interview with the Cut? You remember that one? Where she looked severely like, of course, Wallis Simpson on the front cover without really this sort of panache that Wallis at least had. And if you remember, she sat down and said, I never signed an NDA. Nobody ever asked me to, so I'm kind of free to say what I want. Well, we kind of know that about Meghan, right? Meghan literally makes up her own world and tells you her own stories, and you're supposed to believe it. It's a little bit like the way she's addressed things recently on that podcast, trying to get you to be, really concerned and bothered about what she's doing. But clearly people are getting beyond bored with Harry and Meghan's act. We are fascinated by them because literally it's the couple that threw it all away. It's the golden goose, isn't it? You know what I mean, chums? You kind of think you've had everything that people could dream of, but now you've said, you know what, off, and you've lost it. But what's interesting is this, and this, of course, will offend, no doubt, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, Prince William. Let me explain. Morning, you all right, chums? I'm not bad, thank you. A little bit of hay fever coming around here. So if I sound a little bit froggy and a little bit dusty, do forgive me. But it's becoming really, really bad at the minute. I'm not sure when this, passes off. Hope it goes soon though, because I'm fed up with cough sweets and stuff like that now. And I can't try those tablets because even the non-drowsy ones, you're out like a light. You're out now, you mean? No, but you know what I mean? You try them and they say, oh, non-drowsy. I'm off. Yes, maybe it's just the thought of it, who knows, but I just think you've got to be very careful what you're taking. Stick to the things like paracetamol, aspirin, that sort of stuff. Anything else, you're never quite sure, are you? Doesn't always agree with everybody. That's why we're all different. A little bit like, of course, Meghan Markle. Remember, last month where it slipped out that she'd been using, sorry, we haven't had a wave, have we? Last month that she'd been using, of course, just privately, HRH title, remember that? And what was fascinating about that was who just uses that privately? Of course, she wanted people to call her Princess Meghan. She wanted people to basically remember that she was once part of the most famous family in the world. This, of course, is a woman who claimed titles meant nothing. She didn't really care. Now, according to a source, that was a test. Right? And this is from an excellent source that is currently still working with Meghan as she now tries to rebrand herself into whatever she's trying to rebrand herself, right? And the idea with this HRH test was to see if anybody actually kicked back from the palace. Now, according to Meghan directly herself, right, Meghan? Nobody came back from the palace and said, you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to use it, remember the agreement that you had with the late Queen Elizabeth. And that's truly the problem, the story. And according to a source, Meghan is looking at using this to promote her next venture, which many people are suggesting could be, in fact, fashion. Now, that's a farce, as we all know in itself, because, as I've said, Meghan and fashion don't exactly go hand in hand. I think she might do better advertising steamers or an ironing board, but that could just be me. But you see, the HRH title still opens doors. And as I told you recently with Prince Harry, when he was doing the speech over in China, he insisted on his name being a certain size. He insisted on being introduced as Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. They've decided the only thing left is their association with the British monarchy. And Meghan Markle knows, whether it's Meghan Sussex, Meghan Windsor, whatever she calls herself, Meghan Markle knows that this will irritate, upset and offend the people that have been so kind to her in the beginning. Of course, the Prince of Wales, Prince William, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and more importantly, the King, who is still battling ill health. They simply don't care. It's about making money, trying to shore up what little cachet they have left. And if, of course, Meghan could title her new brand of fashion range as HRH Meghan, well, what better? She believes that will take off. And let's not forget, of course, that she did try and push that with other ventures, didn't she? With her own coat of arms and things like that. Meghan is not giving in, monetising the British monarchy. Harry is useless, spineless, and wouldn't dare take her on because, according to that source, he's absolutely petrified that Meghan might wave goodbye. Not while there's money in the bank, one might suggest. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.